Welcome to the official presentation of Can You Name the 12 Apostles? Now let's see if you can, if you really know these guys as well as you think you do. You may be wondering, what are those names up above referencing? Aren't they some of the sons of Israel? You know, like Simeon, Levi, Judah, and then Jacob, being the other name for Israel. And then you'll see some Koine Greek names below, and some Hebrew or Aramaic. But hold your horses. We'll get to them in just a moment. But we will be diving into the original names of the 12 apostles. And just as a caveat, I'm a linguist by hobby. But if you happen to know any of these names more in depth than I do, then please leave a comment in the comment section below and let us know. Speak the truth in love, and let us know if you have any other insights that I didn't cover in this video today. But without further ado, let's get to know these fellows sitting around the table, as we see in the newer, more newfangled rendition of The Chosen, showing the Lord's Supper, or the Last Supper, I should say, with the new season coming out soon. But the many people that you see around the table, we'll get to know them a little bit more in the moments to come. All right, first we've got Simon Peter, possibly the most popular out of the 12. We know him mostly by the name Simon and Peter. So in Greek, in Koine, we got Simon Petros. So we know that Petros is referring to a stone or a rock. I once heard say a pebble. In Aramaic, Simon is the name Shimon, that is originally related to or derived from the name Simeon, the second son of Israel, which actually in the original Hebrew tongue is coming from the word herd. You might be familiar with the word Shema in Hebrew, which is famous for the saying Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, which means, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. So yeah, our beloved Simon Peter, his Aramaic or Hebrew, the name that it's derived from is Shimon, and his nickname, Kepha, you see there on the side, is the word for stone or rock in Aramaic, which is then where they are translating the nickname, or the second name given there. It's transliterated in Greek as Kephas, which you see on the top right, and then more directly the literal meaning Petros, meaning rock. So in a nutshell, we have Simeon the rock, as I like to say, or Simeon the stone. But yeah, we've gotten to know a little bit more about our beloved Simon Peter. And next up is his brother Andrew. So much more simplistic here. We got Andreas, which simply means manly, or it's derived from the root meaning of man and manly. So that Andrew fellow, he was a manly man. All right, who will we find next? Can you guess? As they normally say, Peter, James, and John, James is up next. So you may be surprised to see that James in Greek is actually the name Iakobos, which is derived from Aramaic or Hebrew as Yaakov, which is actually Jacob. As you may know from the Old Testament, Jacob originally meaning supplanter or one who grabs the heel type of a thing. But yeah, our beloved James, son of Zebedee, is actually our beloved Jacob. And Zebedee, I looked into that, his father's name meaning endowment or gift. So would you look at that? All right, well, who do we got next but none other than John, son of Zebedee. So John, in the Koine Greek, Ioannes, deriving from the Aramaic or Hebrew name Yochanan, which meaning the Lord has graced. So we got James or Jacob, son of Zebedee, and John, Yochanan, son of Zebedee. All right, well, we've gotten the most familiar ones, or our all-star team. So up next is Philip, another simple Greek name that we don't have a Hebrew or Aramaic alternative for, at least from my initial research, but Philippos, which actually just means lover of horses or horse lover. Hippos in the biblical Greek is horse. You might recognize the meaning there in the word hippopotamus, which means river horse. Hippos meaning horse and potamus meaning river. So anyways, and then Phil as in like Phileo or Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. So one who is loving the horses. Was he an equestrian? We don't know, but I'm sure he did ride some type of animals. So good old Philip, that horse lover, is one of the gang. One of the gang. All right, next up, after Philip, is Bartholomew, a.k.a. Nathanael. So in Greek, Bartholomew, even though in English we say mu, it's actually Bartholomeus. So one possible rendering in the Aramaic is Bar Tolmai, Bar meaning the son of Tolmai, or son of the furrows, if the etymology there is correct. And then one of his possible other names, I say possible simply because in some Gospels, some of these names are given in one Gospel or another. Sometimes there's overlap, sometimes there's not. But at any rate, Nathanael comes from a Hebrew or Aramaic meaning of given of God. So good old Bart or good old Nate here has these different names that he went by. So next up we have Matthew, aka Levi. So in Greek, Matthias, you'll notice the ending, the ios, or is similar to Bartholomeus, where we are rendering it as Matthew and Bartholomew, but in the Greek it's a little bit different sounds that they employed. So in Aramaic, Matatia is one possible derivative name that he could have been coming from. So it means the Lord's gift. And then Levi or Levi, meaning joined, one possible meaning there. So you'll notice that some of these fellows had both Greek and Hebrew or Aramaic names that they went by, perhaps depending on the context, whereas Andrew and Philip, for example, at least in Scripture, just had the Greek name that we were aware of. So coming along next in line, we've got another double name here. Thomas in the Koine Greek, Thomas, derived from the Aramaic that I was able to find, Taoma, so literally in the Aramaic meaning twin. So not surprisingly, his nickname or other name in Greek is Didymus, which literally means twin in Greek. So Thomas, he was the twin. I mean, there's no other way around it. So next in line we've got another James, not James son of Zebedee, but James son of Alphaeus. So straightforward Yaakov, which we've already seen, which are really the forms of the name Jacob. So we had Jacob son of Zebedee and Jacob son of Alphaeus. Interesting. We got double names in here. So next one, now this is quite a mouthful to say. So Judas son of James, not to be confused with Judas Iscariot. In the Gospel of John, it specifically says Judas, not Iscariot, so that people aren't befuddled. In other Gospels, he is simply referred to as Thaddaeus or Lebbaeus. So in Greek, we'll break it down one by one here. So in Greek, Judas, down below in the Aramaic or Hebrew, is actually Yehuda, which is actually the name Judah. You may be surprised to hear that, but coming from the word for praise in Hebrew. So another one of his names, Thaddaeus or Lebbaeus. Now these ones are a little bit, I should say, sketchier in my research. I didn't pour as much time into these as much, simply because this fellow has many a name to go over. But Tadai and Levev being related to the word for heart, so having to do with his his robust heartfulness or courage, if I remember correctly. But anyways, Judas or Yehuda actually being the name Judah. So we've only got two left. And now that we come down to it, we've got the other Simon, Simon the Zealot. So in Greek, Simon ha-Zelotes, kind of straightforward. So in Aramaic, the name Shimon, related to the name Simeon, as before with Peter, Simon Peter, and Hakanai, really just being the zealot or the zealous one. So last, and the saying goes last but not least, but in this case, last and least, is Judas Iscariot. So in Greek, Judas, like the other fellow that we just mentioned, Iscariotes, and then in Aramaic, Yehuda, Ishkariot. So Yehuda, again, being Judah. People have different interpretations of what Ishkariot could mean in terms of, we know that Ish means man, so it could just mean the man from Kariot, or the Kariathite. People have other interpretations, but this is kind of the one that I like. Judah the Kariathite is what I'd most often go with, I would say. So, we have just gone through all 12 names, and I hope that you've gotten to see a little bit of the backstory for where some of these names come from. So let's just do one final pass, a little bird's eye overview. And you will notice that half of the disciples, half of the 12 apostles, actually have the same names as each other. So Simon Peter and Simon the Zealot, likely being originally named Simeon, or a version of that. So you got Simeon the Rock, as I put it here, and Simeon the Zealot. Next over we have James, son of Zebedee, and James, son of Alphaeus. I kind of just tongue in cheek here, but James, Zebedee's son, Jacob, Zebedee's son, and Jacob, Alphaeus' son. Again, they're not really considered last names as we would know them, but more just identifiers as, oh, his father was named Zebedee, or his father was named Alphaeus. But yeah, just kind of playfully calling them, Jacob or Jake here. And then over to the right, you've got Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot. So yeah, Judah Jameson and Judah the Kariathite, as I put it here. But yeah, interestingly enough, really half of them had the same name, or as they had another name twin, not to be confused with Thomas, whose name is twin. And then, but yeah, Andrew meaning manly, Andreas, as we saw before, Philip, the horse lover, Philippos, and then good old John, Yochanan, Zebedee's son, Thomas the twin, as we saw, Bartholomew, son of Ptolemy, or son of the furrows, like Bar Ptolemy, and then Matthew, aka Levi. And but yeah, you'll see that they're in their original context, with many of them speaking Aramaic, or being familiar with Hebrew and the Jewish culture, that you'll notice that many of the names are actually derived more from the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, namely Simeon, Levi, Judah, which actually shouldn't really come as a surprise. But it's interesting how, as the sands of time have passed into 2025 and beyond, that we've just been really using the English names for many of them, like Simon, James, Judas, etc. But actually, if you look back into the Greek and Hebrew, that there's a richer heritage behind and different meanings behind these names. So, at any rate, I hope you've enjoyed today's presentation. I hope you've gained something from it. Let me know in the comments below. Drop a heart, drop a like, smash that subscribe and notification bell, and thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you on the next one.